Today, we are going to talk about leads, how to find them, how to get them, and how to close them. Today, we are talking with Adriana Tica, who is a strategy advisor and trend analyst, and she is one of my all-time favorite newsletter publishers. She's all about no BS, zero hacks marketing strategy, and her newsletter, Ideas to Power Your Future, is a weekly newsletter about strategy, growth advice without the hacks. She's also the founder of Copywritech and Idunn, which are two agency brands that specialize in content and copywriting. Adriana, happy to have you on the call today.
Hi, Adam. Thank you for having me here, and thank you for your kind words.
Of course, like I said, I am really a huge fan of yours, and I've been reading your newsletter for some time now. Like I said, for today, we're going to be talking about leads, how to find them, and how to close them. Could you tell us a bit more about your main revenue streams, in particular, how you generate leads and convert them into customers?
So I have two main revenue generators, the newsletter that you mentioned. This is rather new. I just started it last year. And the second one is my agency brand, Idunn and Copywritech. I've been running these for 8 years now. I first started Copywritech as a generalistic agency, and then I did another brand, Copywritech, that only caters to tech companies. So as you can imagine, my lead generation process is fairly different between these two. For my agency brand, since we mostly offer SEO, content writing, and copywriting, social media, and strategy services, I try to walk the talk. So 99% of our clients have come to us through content, whether that's SEO content or guest posting or simply social media content. This is how we get the clients. It's also my preferred lead generation strategy, because when clients find you organically, they're already half sold. They know they can trust you. They know what you talk about. They like your style, and they want that. They want what they read. I dabbled in ads, but paid acquisition has resulted in poorer quality leads. For my newsletter, the process is different, but it also starts with content. People like what I write about. They sign up for my newsletter. Issue by issue, they start gaining more trust in me, and then they consider buying my products or my strategy sessions, and so on and so forth.
That's so true about the nurturing side, because I've been on those sales calls with people, and if they're a warm lead, it's a completely different conversation than somebody who says, I Googled, I saw your name, you're in like the second results. I didn't read anything. I just wanted to talk to you. And it's like, oh.
Yeah, or if you pitch slap them on LinkedIn, or, hi, I just met you and this is crazy, but I have a pitch, so hear me out.
Yeah. I love the pitch slaps that you get.
Yeah.
I've had a few of those, and they quickly transition from, oh, I can help you with this, to, oh, I can help you with that. And it's like, well, wait a minute, what are you trying to help me with here? It's a completely different conversation than, oh, hey, I read 10 of your blog posts. In your words, like, I know you walk the talk because you get the SEO organic traffic coming in. So you obviously know what you're talking about. And by the way, where do I sign? Like, it's a totally different conversation.
Yep, exactly.
So in terms of further nurturing your leads, and you can talk on the agency side or the newsletter side, dive into that a little bit deeper. Like, how do you go about nurturing them to the point where they're ready to sign on with you?
Well, I can talk to you about the newsletter side, because that's what I've been focusing the most recently. I try to talk about my products organically. I rarely pitch slap my clients. I send Black Friday campaigns. They get one email about each product that I sell. But other than that, I don't do endless sequences, 20 emails about the same $50 product. No, that's not happening. But I try to squeeze in a testimonial here and there, a story about a client win, everything to help them build their trust organically. And I'm not pushy, since I admit that I'm lucky here because I have an additional revenue stream, so I don't have to turn my newsletter into a well-oiled cash machine instantly. But I can take my time, and I prefer to build trust rather than build a fortune within a month and lose it the second month when people discover I've been lying to them and maybe amplifying my claims a bit too much. So my safest bet and my biggest bet is on social proof and telling people exactly how I can help them and how I cannot help them, because, no one is for everyone.
Absolutely. Like I can say, as somebody who's been reading your newsletter for some time, I am definitely in your tribe. And I've always really admired and respected how deep you go into these topics. And you really do appreciate the nuance. It's so easy for people to fall into these kind of like binary approaches where it's like you have to do this, not that. But it's like, well, you can do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and it kind of ties in.
Yeah, a lot of people mention the nuance part, but I know we try to turn marketing into an exact science, but it's not, and it will never be an exact science. So you need a little bit of nuance everywhere, and you need to be aware that what worked for you may not work for me,
Absolutely. I spent over 10 years of my career as a consultant where we would do conversion optimization and we would split test different marketing messages, different ideas, layouts, designs, copy, angles, business models, etc. And to your point, you could try the same thing. And it got to the point where it's like, well, I know that this works probably about 2/3 of the time. So in your business, maybe it will work, but maybe it won't. So let's test it and find out. And
Exactly.
that for me was a huge aha moment. Excuse me. Speaking of aha moments, what has been your biggest aha moment in relation to lead gen?
Volume matters. In marketing, we tend to talk a lot about how you should always put quality first and not quantity. I mean, that's true. You can't simply dish out a ton of crap and expect people to convert because you just write a lot, but volume matters, and it matters everywhere. If I know like me, you spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, and you've probably seen a lot of LinkedIn consultants who tell you that you don't need a huge audience to convert people. And then they go in and give you an example. Like, I have a client, he has 2,000 followers, and still he was able to make 10K within a month. And of course, that's great. And I know it's happening. They're not lying. But can you imagine what could happen if they had 20K followers,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so volume matters in lead generation, but on the other hand, so does quality. This is an instance, speaking of nuance, because you brought it up. This is an instance where you have to get both right. 100 leads are useless if they're a really bad fit. You're much better off with 10 of them. But if you can get 100 leads that are a good fit, kudos to you.
Absolutely. You had mentioned something in your newsletter, I think it was probably, I don't know, 7 or 8 weeks ago, where you had talked about social media in particular. And you said, look, it's definitely both. It's quantity and it's quality, but there's the social proof aspect as well. If you have 500 followers on LinkedIn versus 10,000, people are going to look at it a little differently. And I think the way you put it was you probably didn't need to go out and hustle to get those first few thousand followers just to build up that cred. And I thought that was it was a nice nuanced point that most people don't
It
say.
is.
Like you
And
can
it's something I
oh,
yeah, it's something I worked with a lot of my clients on, because they were very good at what they did, but they had very little social clout, So I went against the grain and told them, okay, first we're going to build your audience, then we're going to start selling them stuff.
exactly.
Because you're talking to yourself at this point. You have 50 followers, and yeah.
I feel like you're talking to myself right now because that's really where my wife Darcy and we're at right now, where it's like we want to build a following. We can worry about the business side later. That's not really like our driving force anymore.
Yeah.
In your case, when it comes to generating the leads, could you tell us a bit more about the strategies or the frameworks that you have in place to do so?
So I have a pretty clear funnel for, well, I'm going to start with my agency. I still rely a lot on SEO. I haven't promoted my agency in the last year or so, but we have a lot of guest posts that are published in high impact publications. So there are still some leads dripping from there. We do fairly well with the word of mouth right now. So the usual flow was people discovered our content either organically or in a media outlet. They fill in the contact form, and we jump on a call with them, decide whether we're a good fit for each other or not, and take it from there. For my newsletter, I funnel people in through LinkedIn mostly, Twitter secondarily. I also do a lot of cross promotes with other newsletter operators. I'm part of the creator network on ConvertKit, and as soon as someone signs up to my newsletter, like I mentioned before, during as an answer to your previous question, I try to nurture them slowly but surely. They're going to see my products in my email signature. They're going to get one email about each product that I have right now, and they're going to see them mentioned throughout my newsletters as organically, as naturally as possible, of course.
Nice. I've seen you popped up several times. You've been recommended. I believe it was in Growth in Reverse, which is an excellent newsletter.
Oh, Chanel is awesome. Yes,
Yes, yeah,
yes.
yeah, she's really good. And then also Newsletter Circle, which I just saw yesterday. I was like,
Oh,
hey,
yeah. Yeah,
good
yeah, yeah.
timing. So how well has you mentioned you're a part of ConvertKit's network,
Yeah.
the creator network. How has that been for you so far? What's the experience like?
It's been very helpful because I can't always spend ages on social media promoting my brand and my newsletters. So when I have to focus on something else, the creator network picks up the slack because it's automated. As soon as you find the right partners, the followers start to funnel in. However, it has its downsides, or at least it had them in the beginning when all the recommendations were pre-checked. So everyone who signed up for your newsletter, they kind of didn't know what they were doing. They were just trying to push the next button, and they ended up signed up for 5 other newsletters. They changed that recently. This resulted in a lower conversion rate, but on the other hand, people stay on your list for longer, and you no longer get those unsubscribes with "I never signed up for this email list," which kill your sender reputation, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I will definitely, because I use ConvertKit as well, and that's something I'm definitely gonna to dive in and try out then.
Oh
Um,
yeah, find me on the Converter network and we can recommend each other. I love your newsletter
Gladly.
too, so yeah.
Because you and I definitely approach similar issues, but in very different ways. And
Yep.
obviously, I'm a super fan of yours. So, in terms of lead gen, if they already have a business in place and they're looking to start getting more leads, what should someone do in the next, let's say, 24 hours to generate their leads?
Gather all the social proof you have. This is a hill I'm willing to die on. Social proof is the biggest growth lever you can pull. So take all your testimonials, reviews, anything, even a quote, a comment on social media, screenshot it, put it in a carousel, make a pretty collage with all the social proof you have, turn it into a video, and post it on your biggest channel. That can be social media, that can be email, even an ad, after all. Use that social media to get clients just like the ones who left you those nice quotes. And if you don't have enough reviews or testimonials, maybe you're just getting started, try and work for free or try to discount your services massively so you can get those first clients. Tell them you're willing to discount your work massively in exchange for a testimonial, and start there. Without social proof these days, it's pretty hard. I mean, it's not impossible, nothing is, but very few people want to take their chances on a complete newbie.
Absolutely. Yeah. Social media is big, or sorry, not social media, social proof, in my experience, was like the number one way that we would win split tests and grow businesses. And for anybody listening, if you are new to getting testimonials, or even if you do, but you don't have a process in place, 3 simple questions are all you need. Talk to your clients and just ask them 3 questions. Say, hey, what was it like before we started working together? Like, what was your life like? What were the problems that you had? Question number 2 is, what was it like working with me in this capacity? Question number 3 is, what are the results you've seen so far? And that's it. Like, if you just ask those 3 quick questions, you can do it at the end of a call. You can record it, and then just say, hey, by the way, is it okay if I just jot down what you said? I'll send it back to you and you can approve it. And then I could just post it on my website and then link back to you. And your acceptance rate is going to be really, really high because you're doing all the work for them. And like you said, you can have this beautiful collage of just all the great results that you've gotten.
Yep, you just need to remember to gather it. And I did the same thing. If I have a strategy session with a client, I take a minute at the end to ask, hey, would you write me a testimonial? But I ask them then while their excitement is still up there, you know? Yeah.
All right. So one final question before we wrap up. You were a very, very productive person running 2 agencies plus a newsletter. What productivity tool has saved you the most time, particularly when it comes to lead gen?
I wouldn't say it's a specific tool like a SaaS solution. We saved a lot of time by using Sendable in our agency to schedule social media content for our brands and for our clients' brands. But other than that, the biggest time saver was content repurposing and reusing. You know, most people spend way too much time producing new content when you can just repurpose bits and pieces of what you already have, reusing it, reposting it, especially if you do a lot of social media. Organic reach is in the gutter everywhere, so you can be sure that maybe 10% of your audience saw what you posted the first time. Do it again, post it again, maybe reframe it a bit, but more often than not you can just copy paste it after 3 months and run with it again.
So true. All right. So for more, if you want to learn more from Adriana, and I highly recommend that you should, you can visit her on her website, which is adrianatica.com. It's Adriana and then Tica spelled Tica.com. I'll be sure to include those links. And you can also find her on LinkedIn and Twitter. For more information like this, you can always visit us at funnelcandy.com for more sweet daily marketing advice. Adriana, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure and an honor speaking with you.
Thank you, Adam. You're gonna make me blush. Thank you. The pleasure was all mine.